Where is he?
We don't know. Can I help you?
I'm just dropping these off for Dr. Johnson. Have a nice day.
So today seems like it's a Stephanie and Alex show with a little bit of sprinkling of bothersome Bonnie and boring Johnny at this point, because like, what was this episode about really? Like, this was just nonsense. The whole 30 plus minutes of this show was just about Stephanie and Alex and their plan to catch Jeremy, even though they don't have concrete proof that it's Jeremy, but they want to just nail the guy just because of past history with Stephanie and what they think could be linked to him. Oh my gosh, this infuriated me so much today, guys. But let's get into it. Today's episode, February 23rd, 2026. Stephanie and Alex, they are going through their plans. Alex is supposed to go to the courthouse to catch Jeremy in action. Stephanie is saying, she thought Jeremy changed and, it could be that it's not him. But Alex has his money betted that, okay, it is Jeremy and they're going to catch him today. It's going to be over today. Oh, boy. Anyways, Alex took up time to really just tell Stephanie that he loves her and she loves him as well, and he's her forever and always. Let's see about that when Joy comes and wrecks everything with their baby together, right? Anyways, Jada comes in and Jada also goes through the plans with them, and Jada also tells Stephanie that an officer will escort her to her mom's office. He will stay there. As we already know, these cops ain't nothing, because we all know that they don't know how to stand their post. Look at what happened with Dimitri last week, and he was able to outsmart them and escape the country. So that, if I was a civilian at Salem, I would not be assured that I am safe at all. But anyways, Jada tells her that she has a cop for Stephanie. The whole place is surrounded by cops and Alex will be protected, and she's worried. Stephanie's worried about how it's gonna affect Alex. She is so antsy that he's taking on this mission, but Alex is not worried. He wants this to be done once and for all so that they can live there happily ever after. But we know Salem, nothing is ever after. Now, this also irritated the heck out of me with Bonnie, and you know how Bonnie can get really annoying at some point, overbearing, annoying, bothersome, annoying. Oh my gosh. So Johnny's over there to tell her the news. He took a while to get to the point, but he tells her basically that, okay, the Demera Publishing Division, they looked over her novel and they realized that it's a moneymaker. It has a high potential to be successful in the romance novel department. That's where business is booming now, so they want to take a chance on her novel. So, of course, she's excited about it. And he says, well, we just have to go through the contract and, hopefully you sign quickly so that we can get started and, not delay publishing or publication of your novel. So Justin comes in. She tells Justin the good news, and he's excited for her. And she said, now that you're here, you can look over the terms and see if everything is good. I'm getting what I'm worth. So Johnny's like, don't delay that much. We have to get started. So Justin's saying that we'll look over this in private. Bonnie's saying, I'm sure everything is okay, but one thing I'll request is that I want cookie handcuffs and, edible handcuffs. And Johnny's saying like, huh? So she said something that people can eat. And he said, I thought you were going along with these pink handcuffs that you have over here. And she said, no, not just them, but I want things that, the guests can eat when I do my book release or something like that. So he said, you let Chanel know, because at this point, Chanel is busy running her business, and then everything at home and the baby and all of that. So eventually he does tell them all Alex is going to join them at some point. He tells them all that he and Chanel are expecting a baby, and they're happy for him and Chanel. And of course Bonnie is just overbearing and nosy and is asking him, hey, did you know the gender yet? How far along is she? All kind of questions, right? But anyways, they wish him well, and they're happy to hear that they do a little cheers and all of that. So yeah, that was it with them. Now at the hospital, Steve and Kayla are talking about, Steve basically setting up this sting operation in motion, him and Jada and Alex, and Kayla is just kind of still in the middle of it, because at the same time she wants them to nail Jeremy, but at the same time she is not 100% certain that it is, and she feels guilty because the first time that he was involved with Stephanie, they did not really get to know him a lot or get to help out when Stephanie was going through her turmoil. And Steve is saying, look, we're here now and all we can do is just protect her to the best of our ability, and I'm certain that it will all be over today. Now Kayla is saying that as a mom, as a parent, she just wished that she could be brave for them. Anytime anything is happening, she always had to try to put on a brave face, and she wishes that she could protect them from everything. But Steve reminds her that as much as we would want to, we can't do that. But Stephanie is in Salem. We're able to help her. We can't help Trip and Joey. They're at different places in the world. So all we can do is just be there for Stephanie, and we're going to do our due diligence. Now back to this again, because it's really just these scenes back and forth in today's episode. So Alex did come over and he got to talk to Bonnie and Justin alone because Johnny had to take a call, and he tells them, well, they tell him that they found out about his elopement on I guess some website, right? So he said that we didn't really go along with it because we're actually married. So they wanted to join, and they're surprised to hear the news. But he said, look, I didn't even know myself, Stephanie. He wanted to set it up after we got our marriage license from the fake elopement setup thing, and she surprised me, and it was really beautiful. Jada was there doing triple duty, and we got it done. And Justin is disappointed, but at the same time him and Bonnie are happy that him and Stephanie are really together, and he wishes them all the best. And Alex does tell them that there will be a bigger celebration down the line, which they all will be invited. Now just Johnny comes back in, and that's when Johnny was telling everybody about him and Chanel expecting, and Bonnie almost let the cat out of the bag, revealing that Alex and Stephanie actually tied the knot already, but she just kept it to the engagement, which is what they want to do, because Alex did tell them that the sting operation is in effect, and Justin's worried about this whole thing, and Alex is not, because there's cops shadowing him. There's cops going to be at the courthouse undercover, so he's not worried. But Justin's saying that, look, this is no walk in the park. Like Jeremy is a homicidal maniac, so we got to be really careful about this. And Alex is not worried. Alex says that it will all be over today. Now at some point Alex and Johnny talk, and he congratulates Johnny again on being a parent again, and Johnny congratulates him on the engagement. At some point, Justin and Bonnie, they go and look over the terms of the contract, do their little intimate time, whatever, nauseating as usual. But yeah, at some point Alex gets a text from Jada about the sting operation is off and there's more details, just call her. Now, Stephanie comes in with the police officer escorting her, and Steve and Kayla talk to her briefly, and she's just really worried about how it's going to affect Alex, and she can't believe that Jeremy's really at it again after she really trusted him when he came back, and she really thought that he had turned a new leaf, but she realized he's the same dangerous homicidal person he has been from the beginning, and she knew that deep down. Now, Steve and Kayla told her not to blame herself. She didn't know that this was going to happen, and it's nothing wrong for her to do a new career change. So he's just there whining and complaining about how she shouldn't have done this one summer night thing because Jeremy really came back here because, you know, he felt like he was being mentioned in the novel and they had another shot. And I'm saying, come on now, Stephanie, you're that narcissistic. But anyways, I think after the guy got the hint that you don't want to be in anything with him, he left you alone. So please don't get ahead of yourself. Anyways, you know, she thanks Steve and Kayla for being, like, you know, the most understanding, supportive parents, loving parents, and they are just there to help her through this. At some point, Steve leaves. Steve, you know, gets with Jada, and Jada tells him that, you know, she found this surveillance from Halloween of Jeremy actually being in a lab coat and trying to stab Alex, even though they don't see the actual face, because I could tell from that time it wasn't Jeremy, right? They didn't show the actual face. So how they can tell is Jeremy based on, because Jeremy was wearing a lab coat as well. Like, I mean, like, I don't understand. You know, at first I thought Jada was, you know, gonna be competent in terms of being the police commissioner, but she's just as worse as the rest of them. Oh my gosh. And Steve is just worse as a PI because, like, you would think that he would be more in depth in terms of his investigations. But anyways, they start to file an arrest, and Steve texts, well, he calls Stephanie and tells her the good news, or quote unquote good news, and she's excited and she want to tell Alex, and he said Jada's already on it. That's when she sent him the text. Now, when the phone call hanged up, he did talk to Jada. Jada is talking to a cop, and Jada is just angry at this point because the cop was supposed to wait a few minutes at Jeremy's school or place of work to arrest him, and, you know, he tells her that Jeremy is nowhere to be found. So she tells that to Steve now. So now they don't know where Jeremy is. Big surprise at this point. Now Kayla also, you know, she had some runs to do, and she was talking to the nurse, and the nurse tells her, you know, who she has to see, which patient she has to see. And, you know, she wanted to go to her office real quick, but she couldn't, so she went to her next patient. Now, it's a whole surprise now because the officer that was escorting Stephanie to her mom's office, you know, he was supposed to stand his post, but somehow he is the patient that Kayla has to see because she lifted up the cover and it was him. Now, back at Kayla's office now, Stephanie's there, and there's a person dressed up in a nursing outfit or assistant outfit, and he comes in and he says, these are for Kayla Johnson. So Stephanie didn't pay no mind to it. She's back on her phone, and the person just puts a rag to her mouth, and she starts screaming, and assuming that it's chloroform. At some point, you see Stephanie tied up. She's unconscious. She's at some basement, somewhere, someplace we don't know. And now we're back at square one. I would love to see that Jeremy is still around walking while they realize that Stephanie's been kidnapped by somebody else. Oh my gosh, when they eat crow, I'll be very excited. But that is it for today, guys. Not much to report apart other than it was the Stephanie and Alex show through and throughout. Let me know your comments on today's episode. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to my channel. I will see you guys tomorrow.